It's your favorite neighborhood nerd, Simone. Max and I took a different path today. There was a sign that said trail, so we just went and looked what it was. We found this cute bench up here, and there is a tiny footpath going down a steep mountain, or, well, mountain is a little bit much, hill, where we will meet up with a trail that we walked yesterday when we took a wrong turn and ended up hiking 6 miles. I'm not planning on hiking 6 miles this morning, but yeah, I'm just enjoying the beautiful nature. There's so many wildflowers, not as many birds, and let me show you what I got yesterday. You need to stay, Max. I let his leash go. So I bought this Knox Provisions monocular to look at the birds. Now, since I got it, I haven't seen any birds. I bought it at the beginning of the week when I saw, is that the word? Birds of prey? I find that word to be way too long. In German we just say Greifvogel, which is basically now I don't know what greifen means in English. Grab bird, you know, so easy. So that I can identify them better, because my camera only sees tiny black dots in the sky. That doesn't help. So I bought this because I saw birds of prey 2 consecutive days in a row, and I was like, I want to know what this is. Unfortunately, I haven't seen one since I got this, but it's coming in handy for sure. Now, the only thing that I still need to acquire is a backpack that is actually comfortable. Hold. The backpack that I have right now is super uncomfortable because the straps chafe right here. Where is it? Oh, it doesn't, because it focuses on my face. Sorry. Like under the armpits, basically. That's where it chafes. And it's really, really super uncomfortable. So I will keep you updated. I also thought, because if I have this in my backpack and I see a bird, chances are that I'm not fast enough at quick draw. So I'm actually considering one of those really weird hip bags. I don't even know if they still make them, but that would be kind of perfect for what I need. The only question is, are they comfortable to hike with for a long period of time? So I'll need to investigate that. But if you have any suggestions, let me know. This trail is super steep. And I slipped. This is not good. I better turn the camera off right now, because I don't know if I need both hands. That tiny little hill up there, that's where we came down. Right next to the houses, and then right here. Yeah, so let's continue walking. So I just saw a blue jay sitting right next to me on a branch. And by the time I slowly took out my camera, it was already flown off. So that hip pouch quick draw possibility is getting more and more attractive. Also, I don't know if you noticed, all of these little teeny tiny, they curl. And I'm wondering what they are. So now that I have a bird identifying app, I now need a wildflower identification app, possibly. And also I get kisses from Max right now, so hee. But yeah, if you have never noticed, they're so cute. And I wonder why they roll up like this. Max is not impressed. As you can see, today is May 18th, and you will be seeing this probably in about 2 weeks. This is how it's been working out so far. With me stopping Ko-fi and having a backlog of 2 videos, that's how it slots in. And it gives me the opportunity to, maybe sometimes I say stuff in the heat of the moment that I can then edit out. It also gives me the opportunity to just not film a video, and on a Sunday when I'm just not feeling like filming a video. So last week I actually cleaned my house instead of doing a snippets from my desk video. But that doesn't matter. It's still here. I have an agenda. I am not going to pull a card this week because I have so many other things I would like to show and share with you that I don't feel like it is doing a service to my game if I am tacking it on at the end, because most of the projects that I put on my cards seem to be extremely involved, take a lot of time, and once I'm done with this, I'm probably ready to stop filming and head out into the beautiful outdoors. So let's start. The first thing that I would like to do, so quickly to run you through, I want to show you an update on the 2 last cards that I pulled. I want to test a nib that I received from my host dad when I was an exchange student here over 30 years ago. I stayed with a family, and Bob saw something that reminded him of me and he sent it over. And so I thought I could share with you what he sent and we can try it out. I also received so much happy mail these past 2 weeks that I would like to share it with you. And then I've been seeing on social media, of course, Julia here doing inky matches with pens, and I love the way that looks, and I thought I would show you my newest in the house maker pen, and we could, do the same thing together. And yeah, because so I could show you the pen and pick some inks and do one of those spreads, because just they're beautiful. So that's what I'm thinking of doing today. The first thing that I wanted to share is the inspiration journal. And I think I'm going to link those videos where I worked on those specific challenges. My card pulls, I have pulled or rolled the dice 3 times so far. The first one was an ink exploration that ended when I found that the ink had gone gooey. So I cleaned the pen that I had it in and I stopped using it immediately. The second card pull was work on my inspiration journal. And I had this grand idea in mind, using a ring binder and putting all that stuff in. And then I went through it and I realized that that was not at all what I wanted to do. And I couldn't, by the end of the video, I had sorted through all the things that didn't inspire me anymore, but I had some stuff left over and I was looking for other alternatives. And I pulled out several things, and I also pulled out field notes. And that was the most appealing format. And so this last week, I only put in 2 things, I believe. I started putting stuff in, but I committed to using the field notes journal, and I think that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm also not going to make this anything special, have any expectation on how this looks. Whatever pen is readily available to me, I want to stick down the inspiration and why I'm sticking it down. So for instance, this one was a part of a sticker set, the back paper, and I really loved the whimsical design of these. These look like stamps, but I thought, you know what, I would love to draw this. Always draw this in my style. Take inspiration from this, try it out and see how it goes. I saw this, and this prompt is the thing that I want to make a sticker with this prompt. So there's more that I have right here that I want to tuck in here. I will be adding this prompt back onto my cards the next time I have an empty card. And then I feel very positive about this development. So it's all stored here, and every time I find something that I want to do in my style, I will stick it in here so I can remember. And then once I'm caught up, I also want to put this journal onto my prompt cards so that I actually work on all of those inspiration pieces that I put in here. So not just being an inspiration journal and collecting the inspiration, but another thing would be then to actually take that piece and translate it into my own art. So, and then the next time I was procrastinating really hard when I pulled that prompt. I don't know, I didn't expect to pull it this early. And so I decided, you saw the result. I made a knitting journal because I just couldn't fathom the idea of casting on something. I purchased some knitting needles because I still used them. They're actually really nice. They are bamboo and they're kind of bouncy a little, like compared to these shorter ones. Maybe it's the length too. These are very hard and stiff, even though they're not metal, they're wood. But these ones are, see how they move? They're kind of bouncy, and it felt really good when I used them for specific things. But for instance, for the thumb, these shorter ones were just so much better. So I actually finished the first mitt. I had 2 patterns that I chose from. The Duke City Mitts by one of our own people, Doug from Paper Dog, or Zia Wools, has a pattern, which unfortunately I did not use. Because when I looked at both patterns, these are the West Coast Mittens by Diana Twist. What I noticed was that I had not knit in such a long time that I basically could not make sense of what I was reading. And so it needed to be as easy as possible in the instruction. And Dagmar is a very experienced knitter, and so she's like, you can adjust, and this is everything is like so open for you to adjust and make this work for you, that it was too overwhelming for me to grasp at that time. I think once I'm done with this and once I knit a little more, I will be able to also try hers. But this turned out really nicely. I had to rip it up several times. The magic number of stitches that worked for me was 40. And this is what it looks like. And I think it fits really nicely. And I love the texture that, or also the color that I created with holding these two yarns together. So what I need to do next is weave in the ends. I also need to cast on the second one. And then one day I will have 2 of these. Now, this is something that I might start next week. However, while I was working on these West Coast mittens, I was very excited once I've understood all of the instructions and it worked and it turned out to be a garment that one could wear. I was very excited and I already overdid it. Even though I thought I wasn't knitting too much at the same time, it was already not the best for my neck. And so I really need to, what I'm going to do implementing when I'm starting again with the second mitten is that I will be skipping and only knitting every other day. And then I will only knit for 15 minutes at a time. So I can keep knitting, but I need to limit the amount of time that I am knitting until my pain has subsided. And I think just maintaining a good neck and shoulder health, I need to just limit the amount of time that I can knit. So that's sad, but I'm glad I recognized it. So I hope I can do that and see how it goes. 15 minutes is really short, so we'll see how that goes. So I already opened my ink journal to the page where I want to try that nib. And let me show you what it is. Maybe you have seen this in stores. I'm just going to dip it into the Waterman Serenity Blue. That is usually one of my testing inks. And this is what it looks like. This is not how it's supposed to look. Let's make it nice. I guess this is where this goes. It looks very steampunky. And then there's 4 extra nibs. These are all stubby, different knit widths. So I thought we could try this. The nib that is on here is actually I think this is a Schmidt nib that also goes on the Kaweco Sports. And it's a fine nib, so we will see how that works. And in theory, I don't even have to use this steampunky feather dip nib if that is not comfortable for me. Let me grab what I want to show you, if I can. Yes. All of these nibs should, in theory, also work on here. Let's try it and see and confirm. Yep. See? So you're not technically confined to only using this feather quill. It's very heavy on here, so for me it just rotated. But just for fun and giggles, I will be using this. Captain Log, we can't go back the same way I entered the caverns, so we have to find a new way out. We feel rested and ready to leave, but we agreed to look for some food first. I will stay cautious and reserved, though, keeping an eye on Zos. I will keep my bomb tricks ready in my pocket in case something hectic happens. Okay. Log 39. I shouldn't have eat those mushrooms. The pain. I have no luck with the mushrooms here. There's a lot of spelling mistakes. Log 40. Few hours passed and I am finally here, the sunny west. I'm currently at a local cafe. Modest but charming. Going to travel in a hired car. I hope they have some good luck. What? That doesn't make any sense. But that's fine. We'll just go and start with this one. And this is the 1502 World Map series. I think I've seen this on Amazon before. Did you know that you can turn this sideways? I'm scared, but I will try it. I need another card here. Doesn't retain a lot of ink. Let's see how it goes down. Side. It feels like there's catching on some. The tines might be a little bit misaligned to be down, up, side. Yeah, when I'm going this way, side strokes seem to, yeah. Now we're all out of ink. It would totally work for just simply, you know, using this as a nib to write the ink names. So then let's go with A. This is the narrowest stub. Then we have, what is this? 1, 2, maybe it's not A. This is 4, 3, 2, 1. So then let's go from narrowest to biggest. And then I think this little indent right on top of the nib is your ink storage, basically. So this is stub. Oh my gosh, this is super. Maybe I need to swap because this is pulling towards one specific side. It's really hard to keep it at a specific angle. I mean, I'm not expecting master quality, which we should. In theory, we should, because if I was giving this to someone to get them into playing with inks, I would absolutely want this to be perfect so that they would love it instead of feel like they're doing something wrong when they're not. So I'm going to put this to the side. Where's my water glass? Downstairs. Okay, I will clean all of those nibs later, I guess. Yeah, don't you think that that should be how it goes? Because it's not keeping me away from fountain pens and scaring me off. It should be a gateway into being interested in fountain pens. So I'm gonna put this to the side over here. Let me just put it here so we can look at it and enjoy it. And then I will be using this nib holder because I feel like I can turn it better in the way that it is supposed to be turned. Now this is kind of loosey-goosey, but it's not falling off, so that works. Dipping it in, having some ink on that divot, and then I probably need to turn this more so that it's better at a 90-degree angle. Wow. Let's find. Yep. Stub. These sound, it sounds like a scratchy sound, very grainy. Let me put the mic right next to it. Maybe it works. I hope you can hear this. Ooh, look at how much ink it puts down. Well, this is the wrong way. When I'm going up, that is odd. Can you hear that sound when it touches the paper and it moves? Let me see if I can move it over here. Okay, next one. That was step 2. Then, no, step, okay, I messed it up. It's the other way around. So this is 4, this is 3, and then this is 2. But I'm just going to go in the order that I started. I'm going to call this number 3. I just recently watched Allison from, well, what's her channel name? I don't remember. I will link. I hope I can find that video where the nib just completely fell into the ink bottle. That is exactly what happened to me right now. Now, how do I get this out? I do not know. I do, though. I do think I have some nib holders down here. Nope, these are only retired pens. Okay. Retired in the sense that all of the nibs have been taken and put on other pens. Okay, do I dare put this on here? Well, it definitely. I will be right back. Do you want to participate in this? No, it's not working. Maybe I just need to leave it in there. Why can I not grip this? Oh my God. Okay, now. There we go. Thanks for coming to my amazing fountain pen show right here. Let me close this for a second and then we'll clean this off. Yeah, now I'm more than determined to use this, and I'm pushing it down because if I'm getting this to be a little bit broader, then I could possibly stick it into that nib holder without it gliding out right away. So 2. So now this is the one that I want. You're the one that I want. Do 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 do. Ooh ooh ooh. Not, still not. Okay. Give me a second. We can deal with this. So if I'm pushing down here and making this broader, then possibly, maybe also not, who knows. Nope. I will be using this on here. All right, nice job, Simone. There we go. Okay, this is step 3. Okay, no such thing as, oh my gosh, step 3. I mean, it's not a stub nib because stubs are smooth and rounded. This is very unsatisfying. But you know, just to make this clear, I was expecting that it wasn't going to work well. I wanted to try it and use it and share it with you all because I feel like this is so amazing that this man out there on the East Coast sees something and thinks of me. We have contact, but not like, you know, the Christmas card. I've lived with them for a year, and then he sees this and he sends it. And trying this out is my way of honoring the thought. And just being happy and taking the time to appreciate that he sent it over. So just to be totally clear, this is my way of spending time with the thing that he sent and honoring the thought. This would be so cool if it worked, though, wouldn't it? How do you... maybe if I angle it up higher. I don't want to dip it in more than necessary because I'm very afraid that I'm going to lose this thing again. So it doesn't really, I guess, not the nib doesn't touch the paper all the way, even though now it does. So why? Super odd. No, not again. I think because these are so wide, the bigger you go, the more problematic it is with these cheaper nibs. It makes me sad, kind of, that this is the experience that you have with these types of things, because someone makes them. Somewhere, a machine, someone is investing money into making this, and it's basically such a bad product. So there we go. Now I need this to dry so that later, I'm going to show you the Happy Meal. So I have a chance. Otherwise, I will just use some blotting paper to put on here. And it probably also bled all the way through. Yeah, doesn't matter. Then let's show you the rest of the Happy Meal that I received this past week. And I just want to say that for me, the letter is what counts. Just getting this in the mail, but I have some extremely creative friends who send over, like, who make some incredible art with their mail, and I just want to, like the dip pen here, I just want to give them some airtime so that I can share the amazing stuff that they make. So this is a bag that I sent to my friend Lorelei when I sent her a pen that I had loaned her. And it was beads that had broken from a charm that another friend had made me or gifted me. And I asked her if she could make something out of these because the holes in here were so tiny that I didn't have the appropriate tools to repair it. And so I asked her if she could make something that I could put on a traveler's notebook cover. And I'm looking around to see if I have one that I could put this on so I can show it to you, and maybe I'll just leave it on there. Here. This is what it looks like. I didn't want it to be one long thing, so it would dangle all the way down here. So I asked her if she could make something that would be like incorporated all the beads, but still would be a little shorter. So I have this tiny cluster here now. Don't it look so good? I love these glass beads so much with these flowers. Yeah. So gonna leave this right on here so that I can look at it every time I use my ephemera TN. And then Lorelei is super creative. She has her own jewelry business. Sent this tag card. Isn't it cool with pockets here and a pocket out here? There's some tea. I'll definitely try that. And then in these pockets, she decorated them. How is this attached here? Glued. And then is this rub-ons or washi? Bugs, more bugs. And it's all, I love that she has so much stuff that goes together because this all kind of like works in a theme. And then we have this piece of paper. And then there's these girls stickers here. And then another one of those pieces of paper. I just thought this was so cool not to share. And so I'm going to put this back, and then I will distribute this into my ephemera stuff so I don't forget to use it. And what I've been doing, I know this might be super controversial. So if you hate this, maybe don't tell me because I don't want to hear it and I still am going to do this. I will take all of this out. And then the next letter that I sent, I will stuff things and pass this along to a friend. Because I feel like if I put it into my letterbox, it doesn't get enough appreciation, you know? I usually put a post-it and say, hey, my friend who such and such made this. Most of the time it's Lorelei. And I thought I would reuse it and pass it along because I love it so much. So that's what I often do with these types of things. I hope if you ever get one, you don't feel like, well, she's not making it herself, but I feel like they should get some more use than just once. And then, oh, okay. And then let me just show you here. Fountain pen on crinkly paper. Isn't that so cool? I love this so much, so much. So do more of what makes you happy is actually a motto that I have been taken to heart recently, and I wanted to show you the envelope too. So fun. I can't show you the front because there is my address on there. But yeah, I think I will do a very short video about do more of what makes you happy and how I've been trying to do more and more of the things that bring me joy. So, yeah, that's one of those things that are really developing right now in my life. And then I wanted to show you this card that Jeffrey sent, because I love the sentiment that is on this card. Hello. Hey, hi, hello. Just wanted to drop a line to my totally obsessed pen and paper stationery nerd friend. Isn't this just the coolest? Oh, sorry. These cards are by Smitten on Paper. So if you wanted one of them, you could get them. And I love how he made these balloons here and then decorated, just used fountain pen to make this pattern here. That is so cool. And then another extremely talented friend, and I featured her in another video before, sent me some of her art. And so I thought maybe you want to check her out. It's www.CarinaRobertsonArt.etsy.com. She's from Scotland, or she lives in Scotland right now. I think this is a scone with tea. Wee scone. Fantastic. So cool. I love this. And then she sent this bookmark, Frida Kahlo, and then this succulent bookmark as well, which I loved. And then this is the letter. And the cutest thing on there was the card said, I need to write a letter. So I'm so glad that you're playing the game and that it made you send me a letter. I'm so excited. Thank you so, so much. Thanks every single person who sends me a letter. I don't share these special letters because this is what your letter needs to look like. I think just the act of writing and using your pens, sending something to a friend is amazing. If I get a letter and there's just paper, written paper in there, I'm as happy as when I receive a bookmark that you made, just so that we get things straight here. I actually have used up all of my papers that I made on a video, and so I actually made some more last night. So I have the beginning of some letters, and I used a combination of the Pilot Parallel pens and the currently inked fountain pens that I have. This turned out to work so well together. Didn't expect that. Yeah, so it was so much fun. And as you can see, I've been dabbling with trying to abstractify some flowers. I love how this one turned out right here. So I've been trying to recreate it on those papers. So yeah, this is totally unintentional, but I love this, and I encourage you to do this too. Even if you just write to yourself, put it in your journal. It doesn't need to go to someone if you don't want to take on that next, committing to write letters can also be a burden. And so I don't want you to think that you have to burden yourself with more stuff. So let's just dabble up some of this. Wow, this worked super nicely, but at least it's not getting onto the other one. So let's go here and take this, and let me show you my new pen, because it's so amazing. And I think what I'm also going to do, I'm going to ink it in June. I will just ink it up. Ta-da! So this is, if you know if you're into the maker space, you know that James from Bone Crusher Studios sends out his pens like this. And I had this one made for me. I recently shared a video about my maker pens and kind of concluded that I needed more maker pens for all of my nibs. And so once I had planted that idea in my head, I went browsing on some maker websites and I came across this blank. This is a poorly controlled blank, and it is much more, there's more depth to this than you can actually see on this screen right here. It's, amazing. So it was sold out, and I reached out to James and asked, do you have more of this blank? And he was like, nope. But if you insist, I have another one. He showed it to me. It was nice, but I've been ridden by FOMO because everyone that I know is raving about poorly controlled and their blanks, and I have not actually seen one in person yet. And so I thought, no, actually, I am committed to this specific one. Many of their blanks are very earthy, swampy colors. Not that that's bad, but that is just not. I'm more of a loud fountain pen user or holographic. This is not necessarily loud, but this is definitely in my wheelhouse when it comes to colors. This very light, almost aqua color. And then there is some mauvey purple and rainbow and holographic sparkles. So I was like, if I am going to buy a poorly, can you see the rainbow over here? This looks like a poorly controlled blank that would totally appeal to me. And so I said, no, I'm committed to this blank. And then he found that it was not available from them anymore. And then he found one. I don't know how he does this, but I think he said it was a commission that fell through. And so I said, okay, I'll commission this pen from you then. And so he came through with this beautiful, beautiful pen. I'm going to share a video from outside because I think this is the best one that you can get. I had a silver finial put in and a silver nib that is not on here. I'm trying to explore my stubby nibs a little more again and trying one more time, kind of, or yet again. And so I put my journaler nib on there because, it's silver too. And so that would totally match this whole vibe. And so if you've seen Julia's not videos. I don't think she shows these on video. She makes them for Instagram and the amazing images there. But she usually maybe 3 or 4 or even 5 inks across the page, and then she puts the pen on top, and it's like, oh, so nice. I want to do that for this pen. So I picked 3 for now that I already know that I think would work. This one I found by accident. This is Trust a Bivalve by Mike from Independence. And why is this never really... I hope I did not film this whole video out of focus. That would be so annoying. This one I think is picking up on these... can you see those? These purpley gray bits. And then Blue Suntan is a blue that has some pink undertones. Let me show you. Wow. here. I think this would work really well as well. And then I also pulled out Moonbeam because it has kind of like this similar chatoyance in the shimmer. This is from the 2023 Inkvent Chameleon ink shimmer. And then, what was the other one? Oh, and then I thought, let's look through, I want to have a darker blue in there as well that picks up on these color tones, but is not as light as Blue Suntan. So I pulled out my cards, and lots of these colors are too green, like all of these. Deep Mountain, San Francisco Bay, Appetite from Pelican, Tourmaline from Lamy, this Nagasawa ink, Shiro is too green, Kujaku could work. I'm gonna leave this out. Blue-Eyed Mary is too blue again. I thought maybe the ones that are coming later, but I'm gonna leave this out for now. I also, when I flip through and go to that inky test page right here, I feel like this would work too, but look at how it looks here. Maybe not, but I could just try it, you know. Let's leave it out. Let's leave it out. And then Blue Suntan, I think, can work really well. So I have that one already. Aqua Lagoon is definitely like, when I look down here, what the fuck? I mean, I'm glad I read these to you. Do I just start again? I think so. I just talked about being out of focus, and then I filmed a whole segment out of focus. Great job, Simone. So, Trust the Bivalve, Moonbeam, and Blue Suntan are the 3 inks that I already picked because I think they work really well with the pen. The Trust the Bivalve picks up on these. I think the Moonbeam has similar colors in the shimmer. Blue Suntan is a pink blue that looks very similar to this whole pen vibe. And then I went through all of these cards that I did not show you. So let's start again. Don't Trust a Bivalve looks very blue-gray here. But when I look at, especially with the chromatography right here, when I look at it here, it feels like this could totally work. So I'm not sure, maybe if I wanted to do 5, I could put this out there. Let's just collect some more colors that could work. Aqua Lagoon. So I'm looking, the one color that I'm looking at is down here. And I feel like Aqua Lagoon could be a color that works. Konpeki, I think, is too blue. Inspired Blue, yeah, I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. I don't think this is it. Maybe Shikiori Yuki Akari. I'm going to leave this out. I thought possibly Kujaku, but when I look at it next to Aqua Lagoon, I think Aqua Lagoon is the better choice. I'm going to put this to the side. This is Blue Suntan. Blue-Eyed Mary is too green in my eyes. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. What do you think? Should I bump it off and use Blue-Eyed Mary as a swatch idea? Shoro is way too green. And then we get into the greener sections like Aotani Cascade Green, number 47 from Nagasawa Kobe, Tourmaline from Lamy, Appetite from Pelican, Deep Mountain, and San Francisco Bay are too green. They're nice light, but they're too green. So I want to max out at 5. So we have 3 already here. One is this one. So we could, maybe I'll do that. I think that's nice. So then we need to figure out, I want to figure out how to stack them. I want to do this. Maybe this on, maybe gray, this, then this, so that we have the blues not all together. Or should I put them together? What? How do we do this? Do you have an idea? Maybe I don't know. I would love to hear your thoughts, but I still have to do it without your input. Oh no. So I need water. I will be back. I totally forgot to tell you what this blank is called. This is the Harvest Bell by Poorly Controlled. The pen is a Velma model from Bone Crusher 7 Studios. And I used my Jinhao 1919 with a Pilot Parallel 1.5 millimeter nib. But I actually don't know what the ink is. Maybe I do know. Let me check. Didn't I do a Dominant Industry Winter Night? Wow, this darkened up a lot. What happens if we do this? And then did this? I guess I need to write this down somewhere else in order not to forget it. Nice. Okay, side quest. So Julia uses glass spoons to move the ink around in this horizontal, amazingly dabby style. I have this cocktail stick that I think I'm going to use because I don't have anything like that. So that's what I'm going to use. And then I'm going to use my trusty old Kakimori brass dip nib to do all the things. I have some water right here, and what else do I need? I don't think I need anything else. So let's just dip in. Oh, I need the inks, right? Yeah. So Kujaku was that one. And then the other one was Shailor Shikiori Yuki Akari. And that is down here. So inks are here. I'm ready. I think I'm ready. And I decided I'm going to put all the blue inks together. No. No. I'm going to do blue suntan because that's, I think, the one that matches best. But you decide that. I need more of this ink. What the heck? Oh, that is fine because we want this to be... we're just going to copy her right, like totally. I probably would need lines because what if this is just going to be so crooked? Then that's fine too, right? That's fine. Everything's going to be all right. I'm just here to make inky messes and have fun. This is how we get that. This is how we do it. Yeah, I don't know when I started singing in my videos. Can you see the pink undertones that are coming out here? I love that. And this glass stick is actually pretty good. Let me grab this closer. I feel like I'm very far to the left today. So this is clean again. And then let me dip this in here. If I don't know how much ink, I don't like this. I need something else. I don't know how much ink Eric from Amarillo Stationery has, but I need another bottle of this ink. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with it. Stationery Blue Suntan. There we go. Next, this is the ink that I'm going to ink this pen with, is Trust a Bivalve by, oh, I did not notice this. There is an ink dependence. I was like, there's not even an indication like that this is from Mike, but it is. It's just very subtle and really cool actually. So let's try this again. So yes, as I said earlier, I wanted to, I'm going to distribute the blues in between the other colors because I think that will make them stand out more and be easier to identify which one matches best. I'm curious, have you tried this Trust a Bivalve ink? And how is their flow? How does it perform? I hope I'm not making a mistake by using a journaler nib with it if it's too dry and it's not going to be a very pleasant experience. I like this. Do you see what I mean by this? Maybe it's darker in this than when it's written with. We'll see. Let me dry this off. Oh, okay. Pendants. I love how this is drying down. Maybe I need to completely change all the way that I'm swatching inks, because Julia, you're onto something here. This is lovely. I think because these, they're drying so layered, you can see all of these edges. I don't even know how to say that. I'm gonna put the darkest one at the bottom of those blues right here. Sailor Shikiori, Yuki Akari. Where is my swizzle stick? Okay, I need to move this. Otherwise I have too much it's too up there, but maybe I can just write something on the bottom too. Who knows? Do I do this with any type of rhyme or reason? No. Should you try it? Absolutely. I love that. On the one hand, it's super easy to just copy someone else and do whatever they do. But also, I love that several people are content creators. And I'm 100% sure that even if they're not content creators. There's so many different ways that we experiment with, so many different ways of swatching ink, that there is like so much to choose from that it's never boring. So Shiki, Ori, Yuki, Akari. What do you think? Oh, this is way too blue. Man, I did not expect this. Maybe I do need to have 6 here, and now I spread it out. But maybe I do need to add the other ink dependence ink that I purchased. Don't trust a bivalve, obviously, to see how it would look, because all of these are super saturated. Obviously, this is what they would write like, or closer to what they would write like when they're in a fountain pen nib. I think I can squeeze it at the bottom. I will. Okay, this is Moonbeam. Let's see if my recollection of this ink is how it actually was. Super dark. Feels like it's leaning towards green almost. I hope there's any shimmer in here. Let me just turn it over and put it back, because yeah, I thought so. So do I get? No, I don't. I'm not getting another one. So we will just have to guess. So the question is, am I going to put, look at this ink. Oh my God. Amarillo Stationery Blue Suntan. You are the most amazing ink I have ever seen. Please don't buy any. Nah, you should not. Totally not. So let's try this one, even though I think that it's going to be way too dark, way too... but maybe I was looking for one more ink that is darker, that could pull up some interesting colors in this fountain pen. And you know how I am. I never stick to matchy inks anyway. So this is just for fun, because I thought it would be interesting to see what it looks like. It makes it like, getting acquainted with the pen even better, kind of. Like, this is what these colors are in there with the blank. Not necessarily that I want my colors that come out of the nib to match, but it feels very, yeah, like I'm bonding with my fountain pen. It's a mother pen bonding session right here. Well, I definitely like this better than this, actually. And I was so sure that this would work. This works so much better, actually. Ha ha. But in the writing, let's write with this one. Pilot. Oh my God, this is wet. This is one of those almost black inks. I really want to make a almost black, but not quite, ink swatching session like this one. This is so cool. So I am actually going to ink up my pen, and then I hope this is going to be dry soon, so we can look at it and see how it turns out. So let me close that ink bottle because this is dangerous territory right here. If you have a printing file for a stabilizer for diamine ink bottles, please let me know and direct me to where I can download it, because I would love my son to print me one, because I really don't trust myself. What the heck, woman? Okay, let me... Where do I have my ink misers? We don't know. We don't know. Ta, 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 ta. We don't know. There they are. Let's get going. Do I also need a pipette? You bet. That is not enough. This might be... Well, you know what they say. There's too much ink to go around, so let's see if this works. Yep. And I think I'm going to commit a crime here right now, which is that I am just going to do that. Yep. You saw it here first. This is not what you should do, I think. I believe. So, since this was inked through the nib, it should, in theory, be okay. And it should write right away. Okay. The journaler nib is this one that I have right here. Was made for Esterbrook. I bought the nib, not with a pen. I bought it on the Virtual Pen Show, which is an Instagram account, from someone who sold it. It is ground by Gina Salarino from Custom Nib Studios. They can also grind any nib that you bring to them into a journaler nib, but it was originally developed as a reminiscing nib grind that would be similar to one of their vintage nibs that they had when Esterbrook was really one of the big fountain pen companies here in the United States. Was it even always ever big? So this is Bone Crusher, 7 Studios, Velma, with a journaler nib, the blank is called Harvest Bell, and it was made by Poorly Controlled. The ink in here is Diamine, ink, Dependence, Trust, a bivalve, what do you think? How do you like it? What are your opinions? Did I do the wrong thing putting this ink into this pen? Well, if I did, you just need to get your own and make the right ink choices. I actually like it. I really do. And it's a color that I want to use, so that is definitely a plus. Let's get this over here and look at these. So I am just so amazed by the depth of color of the blue suntan, even though it doesn't necessarily always come out in the writing. Here is the Trust a Bivalve, Yuki Akari. I mean, in the writing it could go, especially with this bottom part where there is no ink cartridge or converter. Moonbeam. It's a chameleon shimmer, and if I hold it like this, like if I look at it from this angle, I don't know if you can even see it. It looks more green, but if I look at it from this angle, this is what I saw and what I thought of when I look at this pen. So I can see it, but I don't think it's a really great match. And then Kujaku is just, it's almost too green as well. So possibly Blue-Eyed Mary would even be better. Isn't that the one that I chose? Did I totally do this wrong? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Let's just cut this video right here and do it again. So I think if I'm looking at this, it's too green, but I really like this. I want to use this soon. Every time I swatch any of my ink bottles, I feel like I need to put this in a pen. I really do. And the ones that I don't feel like putting in a pen, maybe it's time to let them go. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate the time that you take to just hang out with me, being my friend, helping me with advice when I'm already gone through all of this. I'm really excited to be using this new to me. I just love this. I love the way that James constructs his pens. It's just out of this world. The polishing and the attention to detail, you cannot feel the threads here. It's just so cool. I love that. So I'm super grateful for your time. I really loved making this. I can't wait to tag Julia. What else is here? This I need to put here. Can you see I'm working on the title page here. What else did we do? Oh, so much beautiful Happy Mail. Let me bring some over. Yeah. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Until next time. Bye.